Hello, I'm Valentina Kozlova, former principal dancer of the Bolshoi Ballet and New York City Ballet, also co-founder of VKIBC competition and founder of Valentina Kozlova Dance Foundation. In the program Pulse on Dance and Science of Movement. Let's get started. My second question to you is that when I was dancing here in New York City Ballet, or in general traveling all over the world, honestly speaking, I didn't know much about small companies in New York, neither neoclassical or contemporary, and probably didn't pay much attention because I was too busy in my own bubble.
Yeah.
And but at some point there was a shift to my knowledge, and I think it happened when I actually left New York City Ballet and started to work individually with different dancers from different companies. And I realized in classical and also neoclassical they were very good dancers. You don't have to be in the major companies,
right?
And so that was very interesting, and for me personally. And also, I always thought that for a dancer, it's good to be in a big company. But my view now completely changed, because I feel that to grow up as a dancer and get great experience, it's actually more beneficial to be or to start in a smaller company where there's so much productions are giving, and you have an opportunity to dance, and perhaps that's how your life is going to be. So in other words, I underestimated smaller company. And you also were responsible for introducing me to contemporary companies, besides big names, Albanelli, Martha Graham, and so on. I was not familiar with choreographers and different style of dance, but you were responsible for that. And I go on your invitation to see those companies and always find something that it's very interesting to look at and take into my digestive brain.
Yeah.
So what can you actually tell us? What's your opinion about those tiny companies who make productions and actually make our life very interesting?
Yeah. Well, okay, as a publicist, I have to say, if somebody has a credit from a big company, that's very nice.
Yeah.
I always appreciate that, because it sort of puts them in the ballpark, and it lets you know that they that they have some credibility just from having danced with, say, Mark Morris or any known company. But as far as the whole scene, New York is amazing. Any day, this is Monday, there are many performances going on today on a Monday night in places that you would never imagine are hosting dance. A big room, somebody gets a big room and puts up chairs, or now there are studios and theaters too. I always think of the Garment District, which is in the 30s on the west side. So dark and deserted after 5 o'clock or so. But you would be surprised, up on the second floor or the third floor, there's a theater, there's a performance going on. I mean, a street that you wouldn't want to walk down at night. There is so much going on here, and there's a lot that, no, it's not that it's so memorable, but there's a lot of good work and a lot of interesting work, and so many people who choreograph and who have something to say. As I said, any day, any night of the week.
So that I think it's quite amazing because I go less to classical ballets now. I have my issues with that. I don't think today we're going to discuss, but I'm very much interested that you're introducing me. Unfortunately, I couldn't come to Jackie Buglisi. That was
so wonderful.
Right, and many others that it's just like if you have if we have experience as a dancers or former dancers, for example, and if you are here to understand or try to understand, and you put yourself into it, there's always something that you find fascinating. And I feel a few years ago, I felt dance was going down, but I think with the smaller companies, they're supporting the spirit of New York, and they're supporting us. So, and I think the audience actually more interested right now to attend as many performances as possible with those small companies. What do you think?
Well, most of them have some following, and there's a lot of competition, you know, and it's hard for them. It's hard for them to get funding. It's hard for them to get a lot of attention because there are so many companies. And also, if you get a new person to come and see your work, that person has to be impressed enough to speak well of you and to want to come back. So it's very competitive. It's a tough field.
It is a tough field, but I think that I came from a very competitive world.
Yeah.
And I always felt like if I didn't have a competition, even in classroom, in a good sense, that I see somebody better than me, and I was always very impressed, and always what came to my mind is that he or she is fantastic, so I have a lot of work to do. So if you take this positive, that was inspiring you. And when there were no competition at some point, I worked with some companies that I felt like I got to get out because I need the feed for myself to feel that I'm not the only one. It is very important. That's why I think our Daring Project was so good, because I surrounded myself with very good male and female dancers.
Yes.
So that was really fantastic.
Yeah.
Which I think that I will continue to do it. Hopefully, with your help, we should to promote that small companies, maybe through Pulse and Dance, and then interview some interesting choreographers, innovators.
Yes.
And so
there are a lot of choreographers and dancers out there who are well trained. They know their art, and they have a lot to say. It's a it's sliding qualities. Some are outstanding, some aren't, but you can learn a lot, and they're all so dedicated. I really feel for them because they're in a tough business, and they're not going to get rich from it.
No.
But they love it. I always think of what Martha Graham said. She said, "You don't pick dance; dance picks you."
That's true.
And nobody sits around and says, I think I'll be a choreographer. I'll have a tough time. I won't make any money. I mean, I've had clients who said, my husband or my wife is going to divorce me because I've used all our money doing the productions, and you know. So, but if you have to do it, if you really if dance picked you, you have to do it.
Yeah, it's passion.
Yes,
you can't go against. I mean,
no, you'll be sorry, I think, if you don't try.
Right. Well, on that end, So we have a good job to do to
Yes.
to inspire, and
Yeah.
because I've heard from so many choreographers or directors of small companies saying exactly the same thing and saying
Yeah.
that it's so hard that we do performances in the studio. But I think it's the most difficult to do performances in the studios.
Oh, yes.
Because people sitting next to you, there's not particularly any light, there's nowhere to hide.
Right.
It is what it is.
Right.
So you're either an artist and you create. So you, in a way, you have to believe in what you do and being a great artist to separate.
Yeah. Studio performances are very hard because even if you try not to look at the audience, there's some point where you're going to see a face.
Yes.
And if it doesn't look happy, you're going to, if you're really sensitive,
Yes.
if you take it too seriously,
Yes.
then you'll think, oh my God, that person is hating this, or, maybe that person is just, having to sneeze or something, and it isn't a comment on your performance.
Right.
But it's more difficult to perform in a studio, I think, than on a stage.
I do remember my first studio performance was with the Daring Project at the States Theater in the big room, and you were there, and there was an audience.
Yeah.
There were dancers. You were there, probably some critics. I'm sure you brought some critics, and that's how I met Buzz Swab, photographer.
Oh, yes, yes.
And from her, I had like the best photos just from one rehearsal. She really didn't know what it was going to be, and we presented a very nice program. And I felt I mean, I know it's hard to be people sitting here and you perform, but I guess I was experienced enough completely. I felt like I was in this theater. So it's a process also. It's an emotional process, how you can create the role and be happy. And there's the audience, there's light, you see faces, but you don't see I didn't see faces. I just was dancing what I wanted to present. This is my, like, for example, new chapter. But this is very long process. It took me some time to be that at ease. But we're in a good field, don't you think?
Oh, it's
we
wonderful.
It's
wonderful.
We're in a good field. So it will be continue, and thank you for your attention.